We have a Lowrance Hook 9 TS on the bench. Just spoke with the customer. Problem with this unit is, I guess they went up to Canada fishing and never had any issues with this unit ever, I guess. Went up to Canada. I don't know if they're hitting some waves or whatever the case. The unit cut out. He said they were messing with the cable in the back, fiddling with it. It came back on for a second. They thought they had it, and then it cut out and it wouldn't come back on for them. So just before I started the video, I plugged in a power cable to this guy. It did fire up, and then when I very gently, just very, very gently pulled and tugged on the cable, it would shut off, which seems to be the same issue they're having. Unfortunately, the Hook series, the units that have this style power and sonar connectors, they're just known for issues. It's just, in my opinion, not a good design. Um, there's too much of a chance that this connection here can become loose or the cable physically pull out, whatever the case is. So we already loosened all the screws on this guy. And here we go. It looks real nice and clean in here. I don't notice any corrosion or anything like that, at least on the top of the board. But since we're having these intermittent power issues, and intermittent issues are the worst issues to have, because I mean, when you want to guarantee a repair, intermittent is the worst, because it could be fine here. We could do do some repairs and things. It could be good, but what if it's not good for the customer? I mean, if it's not good for the customer, that's all that matters. And then we obviously guarantee our repairs, so we'd have it shipped back and take another crack at it. But intermittent repairs are difficult, and we want to make sure that they're completely fixed. Issues are all knocked out before we send it out. So we take extra special care with an intermittent type of issue. So in this case, because we can power up the unit, we basically have to do whatever we can to ensure there's no power issues. So the power socket itself, it's surface mount. So this can become, you can get cold solder joints on the connector itself. Inside the connector where it makes contact with the pins, see the pins in there, you can get like slight corrosion or just gunk in there that would also prevent a connection. And then obviously you could have some power supply issues on the board, but normally that wouldn't be intermittent. That would be it either works or it doesn't. So we're going to focus right now on knocking out preventive maintenance. We're going to focus on both sockets, right here, surface mount sockets, and then we're going to move to like MOSFETs and sonar transformer and caps and anything that could possibly cause an intermittent power issue or even any issues in the future. I mean, while we have this thing open, I mean, we're gonna sit here and resolder the sonar circuit. We're gonna do all this other preventive maintenance. Why not? We have it open. Maybe we could prevent future issues for the customer, and it only takes a few more minutes for us to do that. So we're gonna go ahead and do it. So we'll get set up here and we'll start doing the preventive maintenance on this board. So we performed full preventive maintenance on this here. All key components on the board have been resoldered. Everything looks perfect. I cleaned, resoldered and cleaned the power socket, resoldered and cleaned the sonar socket. The power socket, the pins, especially the ground pin inside the socket itself, looked like there was some issues there, so we cleaned it and just verified connectivity. We made a little test adapter thing here, just with pins that fits exactly into the socket. What we actually did to make this is we put a bunch of pins in the socket, lubricated and put plastic, Captain tape actually, and then dropped some epoxy. We didn't do it to this particular unit. We have a parts unit we did it to. This was a while ago. So we made this right here. Focuses. There, if you can see that. So we're checking continuity, wiggling it, and it seems good now. So I'm thinking we knocked out the problem, and also with how in depth we go with preventive maintenance, this should ensure the customer doesn't have any future issues, especially sonar and things like that, because we basically resoldered every component, every key component in the sonar circuit, in addition to power supply. Okay, we're good there. Good there. Get GPS connected again. Perfect. Seems a little iffy there. This tab is holding, but it's not holding great. So I think what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna throw a little bit of hot glue in there just to ensure that tab does hold it in, hold the board in. Because the keypad is built onto the board, the contacts, we need to make sure that that board sets in place and doesn't move. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to set this aside and kind of focus our attention on the casing itself, because the case is where the pins are. You can see that? So again, if they're dirty, loose, broken, or you're not going to get power, possibly intermittent power, depending on the severity of the damage. To me, it looks dirty, so I'm just going to load this thing up with some IPA. Let it sort of sit in there. Loosen up any grime and dirt and anything that might be in there. Once we let it sit for a second, we're going to absorb all that with Q-tips and make sure everything is perfectly clean. We're going to do the same exact thing to the sonar. Once we do that, we'll just clean the case. It looks like there's some mud or dirt or something on here. We'll just clean it up while we got it open. We're going to clean the inside of the case as well. It's kind of hard to see. I'm trying not to have these screws pop out on me, but you can see those. The way it actually works is if the case is like this, or like this, the pins are actually molded into the case like this. So this part of the pin goes exterior to your socket, and that's how they get it watertight, by the way. Goes to your cable, I mean. This side goes to the socket on the motherboard, so it sits in. It seems like it might be a good design, but you got 2 points of failure here. You have the pins going into the socket on the motherboard. They could become loose, corroded, whatever. and you have the pins going into the plug on the cable. Again, loose, corroded, whatever. So 2 points of failure there. Even though it's watertight, I don't think that I just don't think it's worth possibly injecting two potential faults into a unit like that. I kind of prefer, the regular HDS style cable, screws on, make sure it locks in solid. But in any case, we're going to let this thing sit. We're going to soak the sonar also, like I said. And we'll get right back. Okay, we have the pins on the outside and the pins on the inside cleaned up. We cleaned as much of the mud and junk around here as we could. And to properly test this, we have to secure the case completely down because those internal pins do connect into the socket. And I want to make sure that when it's assembled, there's no bad connections or intermittent connections. So we're going to go ahead and screw this all down, plug the cable in, and we're going to give it a good test. Okay, we're all screwed down here, and I was just thinking, what's difficult in cases like this is how does the customer know that his cabling is good? I mean, if they're not familiar with electronics or even electrical work, maybe they don't know how to use a multimeter, maybe they don't have a multimeter. How are they going to know it's not the cabling? So, you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to, as long as it doesn't take too much time, I think I'm going to design and build a small tester. I think I'm going to build a little socket, a little self-contained socket, maybe with an indicator on it. So all I have to do is take this tester, plug their cable into it, and if it illuminates, it's good. If it doesn't, it's bad. Because I just don't want to take a chance of sending this guy back and it's good to go on the bench. It's perfect. Well, what if it's the customer's cabling, right? So at least that'll give the customer something to try. I mean, otherwise I'm going to, some people, might be fine with checking voltages and things like that. Some people might not. I don't know this particular customer if they have any background in that or if they're comfortable doing that. So if I make this little tester, that might be something that can help people, I think. So I think I'm going to do that. I have some bulb grease. This is just like literally automotive bulb grease, dielectric. I like to put this on any connections before they go out, especially a lot of this marine stuff. It helps keep moisture out of connectors, helps prevent some corrosion, and I haven't had any issues just with regular old bulb grease. This is a Permatex brand, but it doesn't matter. Whatever, as long as it's dielectric grease, it should be fine. If I can get it in the basket there. And in this case, I'm just going to go down here carefully with a Q-tip. I don't want to introduce any hairs or fibers from the Q-tip itself, but I'm going to try to coat those pins pretty good, which I think I did. And I'm going to do the same to the sonar pins. You're not going to hurt it by doing this. It's not going to cause any issues. It'll hopefully prevent some issues for you. Okay, so that's done. Let's plug power in here. Power's plugged in. In 3, 2, good. Good. Just wipe this display down a little bit. We'll give it a real good cleaning before we send this out, but just to see a little better on camera here. Okay. Power button's good. Just want to make sure all the buttons work here is what I'm trying to do. Looks good. Awesome. I'm wiggling on this power cable here. I'm pulling it, pushing it, moving it all around in a circle. I don't notice any issues at all. Just going to tap it and make sure there's no intermittent connection issues internally with that pin connecting to the power socket. We're looking good. I'd say we're done, guys. I'd say this one's done. I'm going to go ahead and actually pause the video. I'm going to design and build something to test the cable for the customer, and I'm just going to include it right in the box for them. Maybe if somebody wants these things in the future, let me know. Let me know, and maybe I'll run a batch or something like that of these testers. But let me pause the video now. I'm going to try to design and build something real quick, I hope, and I'll get back and show you what I came up with. So we spoke to the customer, let them know everything we did, all the preventive maintenance, how we initially couldn't replicate the problem, and then we were sort of wiggling the the power cable, and we could get the unit to turn off. So we explained all the preventive maintenance, resoldering all the sockets on the board, sonar, everything we did. I asked him if he'd like, if it would help if he had some sort of test adapter or something to see if he's getting power to his cable in his boat. He said, yeah, So this is what we came up with. Super crude, super fast. I'm not selling this to the guy. I'm giving this to him. If there's any kind of interest in the future, I could make these professionally. I could, I'll redesign the board and I'll maybe 3D print or manufacture the tube. Maybe we could lay out some aluminum and make it into a keychain or something. I don't know. I don't know if there'd be any interest at all, but this is what we came up with. It's literally a highlighter cap that we put a small circuit in, and there's a little piece of metal here that indicates the direction of the plug, and it's very simple. So plug it in. There you go. Red. Unplug. Plug. If I can get it in the right spot here. I'm not using a proper power cable here, but anyway, that shows you. Let's see if we turn off the light, be able to see it a little better here, I think. There. See, the whole end of that cap lights up. Sort of similar to those live wire testers for electricians, I guess. I don't know, but I just made that in-house real quick for the guy. Took more than 10 minutes because we actually CNC cut a small circuit board in there. I don't know if you could see it. So we milled that circuit board, shoved all the guts inside a highlighter cap, poked a hole through it so you could see the red LED in there. There you go. Hopefully that helps them out. If anybody has any fish finders, Lowrance, we do a ton of Lowrance. We love working on Lowrance. Garmin, Hummingbird, or if you have any electronic devices at all, we work on all electronic devices. We make little prototypes of things. We make big prototypes of things. We've done all kinds of stuff in the past. Some production stuff for customers in the past. So this is actually a custom keypad for an industrial system. So if you have anything small or big, feel free to reach out. You can get to us at the website, www.rudolphrepairs.com. You could email us, rudolphrepairs@gmail.com. You can give us a call, 1-800-517-9101. Until next time, guys. Talk to you later.